Danger doesn't always come with a warning. Sometimes it's the client you trust most. In home renovation, trust is everything, but the greatest threats are often the ones you welcome inside. Eleanor Vance was Northwood's ideal client, a retired architect, meticulous, generous, and always prepared. Contractors spoke of her with respect. Her projects were ambitious, her payments prompt, her praise sincere. She lived alone in a beautifully renovated home, channeling her energy into transforming properties. Eleanor was involved but never overbearing, always thoughtful, always kind. She remembered birthdays, brought lemonade, and cared about the workers. Her reputation was spotless, her intentions seemingly pure. But beneath the surface, a chilling anger simmered, hidden behind her warm smile. No one questioned the woman who seemed to care so much. She was the perfect client, until her deadly designs began to unfold. For 5 men, Eleanor's charm would be the last thing they ever trusted. Her secret was as carefully guarded as the blueprints she altered. The first tragedy struck in 2022. Frank Miller, a veteran electrician, electrocuted on Eleanor's project. Eleanor mourned publicly, comforting his family and paying for the funeral. A year later, roofer Carlos Ramirez fell to his death when inspected scaffolding inexplicably failed. Again, Eleanor was the grieving client, questioning if she should continue her projects. Then came David Chen, a plumber, killed by a sudden gas leak. Mark Johnson, a carpenter, crushed by a collapsing beam. Each death was ruled an accident. Old wiring, faulty scaffolding, a hidden gas leak, a failed support. Construction is dangerous, everyone said. Accidents happen. But 5 deaths, all on Eleanor's sites? It was a statistical anomaly no one dared voice. She was always there, always grieving, always advocating for safety. Her performance was flawless. The industry saw only a woman cursed by bad luck. No one suspected the truth. These tragedies were connected by one common thread: Eleanor Vance. The accidents were just that, or so everyone believed. But the pattern was there, hiding in plain sight. And soon, someone would notice. The truth surfaced not through suspicion, but through calculation. Dr. Eris Thorne, a structural engineer, was hired for Eleanor's latest warehouse project. Unfamiliar with Eleanor's history, Eris reviewed the blueprints and noticed odd revisions, small changes requested by Eleanor. A shifted wall, a weaker bolt, a rerouted vent. Each seemed minor, but together they created hidden points of failure. Eris saw a pattern. These weren't just design tweaks, but engineered risks. Driven by duty, Eris dug deeper, cross-referencing Eleanor's projects with news of workplace deaths. The evidence was chilling. Each fatality traced back to a last-minute change order from Eleanor. The roofer's fall? A weaker anchor, specified by Eleanor. The carpenter's beam? A revised securing method. It was all there, hidden in technical jargon. These were not accidents. They were traps. Eris was the first to see the blueprint for murder. She realized the deaths were no coincidence, but the result of calculated sabotage. The perfect client was orchestrating perfect crimes. Eris knew she had to act. The blueprint for murder was finally exposed. Eris knew blueprints alone wouldn't convict Eleanor. She needed more. She reached out to Detective Maya Singh, a sharp investigator open to unconventional leads. Maya was skeptical, but trusted Eris's expertise and agreed to help. Together with forensic accountant Lena Petrova, they formed a quiet task force. Lena traced Eleanor's purchase of substandard materials, matching them to the fatal revisions. The paper trail was damning. Eleanor sourced every faulty component herself. The breakthrough came from security footage. Eleanor, alone at the warehouse site, tampering with a support column the night before a critical pour. This placed her at the scene as a saboteur, not a client. With a warrant, Maya's team seized Eleanor's computers. Digital analyst Chloe Davis uncovered original blueprints and dozens of simulations. Eleanor had modeled every failure, calculating the exact moment of collapse. She wasn't hoping for accidents, she was designing them. The evidence was overwhelming. The perfect client's mask was finally slipping. Justice was closing in. How did Eleanor get away with it? She exploited every stereotype. A wealthy, educated widow in a male-dominated field, she was seen as a patron, not a threat. Her public grief was flawless. Tears at funerals, calls for safety, heartfelt condolences. No one suspected the cold calculation beneath her empathy. Society didn't see women as architects of impersonal violence. Her knowledge of construction let her manipulate with precision, her requests dismissed as harmless. Contractors, eager to please, never questioned her odd suggestions. She used gender bias as a shield, turning empathy into camouflage. Eleanor was always the grieving widow, never the suspect. Her greatest weapon was the mask she wore so well. The motive wasn't money or power, it was vengeance. 10 years earlier, Eleanor's husband died on a site with shoddy safety. The company covered it up and her lawsuit failed. Grief turned to rage. She saw an industry that valued profit over lives. Eleanor's victims weren't random. Each had a record of safety violations or worked for negligent companies. In her mind, she was delivering justice, exposing the dangers the industry hid. Each accident was a lesson, a statement. Her renovations became weapons, her blueprints a manifesto. She was a vigilante, waging a one-woman war against a system she believed had failed her. Her grief curdled into methodical rage. She sacrificed anyone who represented the industry's failures. Eleanor's crusade was born of trauma, and she would stop at nothing. The perfect client was, in truth, the perfect avenger. Eleanor's conviction shook the industry, but the story behind it was just as powerful. It was solved by a team of women, outsiders in their fields, who saw what others missed. Dr. Eris Thorne, Detective Maya Singh, Lena Petrova, and Chloe Davis brought fresh eyes and relentless determination. They weren't blinded by stereotypes. They trusted their expertise and each other. Their collaboration broke down barriers between engineering, finance, and law enforcement. The case became a landmark, proving that vigilance and expertise have no gender. It inspired a new culture of speaking up, even when concerns seemed small. Eris could have stayed silent, but her courage saved lives. For women in the industry, the case became a symbol of empowerment and vigilance. The lesson: trust your instincts, challenge the status quo, and watch out for each other. Dangers aren't always visible. They can hide in blueprints or behind a smile. The best defense is a community that never stops looking closer.